Okay, so while it's pounding down on my house and praying the power doesn't go out, also make sure you guys have good surge protectors. We're continuing along. We have some new information. It's going to mark them. And this is the key for my back problems, is this like little mesh thing. It's like a curved mesh thing you put on the back of your chair. Finding it's helping realign some of the discs on my lower back, but if I do it for too long, it starts to cause back pain. So it's like a temporary treatment that'll then coast. Sorry, that's not related to the game. So he's saying there was something fishy about the testimonial that the guy said. So let us review it. So we have just the testimony now, number 2. Okay, we'll just look at it like this. You have interrogated me. Okay. So it doesn't necessarily seem relevant that this guy does know that male detective. Now, he says Sasha was a maniac. He says he came into her house, and before he could say anything, she tried to stab him with a knife. So this helps explain why there's blood on the knife, like his blood. It does not necessarily explain why there would be fingerprints of his on the knife. It would have had the victim's fingerprints instead. Like, I mean, yeah, maybe he tried to grip it out of her or something, but he's claiming she attacked him on sight. He was KOS. He says he reacted quick, only the skin was excoriated. I'm assuming that means it was only a small scratch or cut. Otherwise, he would have probably been in a hospital. So he didn't get like stabbed, but maybe like it glided across him or something, enough to cut him. He pushed her away, so he doesn't say he grabbed the knife, which would have given the fingerprints, but it still would have probably had her fingerprints on it as well. So she attacks him. He pushed her away and left. Once she goes mad, she can't be provoked. Yeah, there's something about this that doesn't make sense, no doubt. Like, it's very unlikely that she would have attacked him on sight. But it does at least partially explain why he would have his own blood. Doesn't explain why he would have his fingerprints on it, since he said maybe he just worked it out of her hand or something, but he said he pushed her away and left. Yeah, the translations are pretty bad, but they're actually kind of funny in an English kind of way. Not so funny in a detective trying to investigate the evidence kind of way. It does add a new twist to it, though. I like it. Like, I'm actually liking it. Okay, so there's something fishy about what he said, and you guys sound like you're on the same mindset that I am. I don't believe that he was just attacked on sight. That seems very unlikely without knowing maybe if they had a phone exchange, because she called him over. So it is possible, like in the first testimony, he said that she asked him to come over and that he wanted, and that he left. In this one, he says she attacked him on sight and did some form of self-defense. Self-defense assault, let's just call it. We'll call it assault, but I mean it as self-defense. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a policeman. I'm not a practitioner of law. So there's landlords. Oh, so we know this is the landlord. Okay, so the evidence the guy gave us is the landlord's footprints. Are these are the shoes that were in the wardrobe. There were landlord's fingerprints and footprints on the crime scene. Although footprints inside the wardrobe didn't match the shoes of the landlord, his height and weight matched the test results. Ooh, this is interesting because these footprints were inside the wardrobe, not the shoes, just the footprints. It states we don't know for sure whose footprints they actually are. Or rather, they don't match his shoes, but they do match his height and weight. I'm assuming that means like it matches the size, like his foot size, and maybe the weight in terms of how deep the impression might be. We'll just say it's his shoe size. I think that's what it probably means. But there were landlord's fingerprints and footprints on the crime scene. It specifically says landlord's fingerprints and footprints. Although the footprints inside the wardrobe. Okay, so unless the landlord had two pairs of shoes, the shoes that he left, like the footprints he left on the crime scene, don't match the wardrobe footprints. Okay, even though it is the same shoe size. That might become a key. Alright, so there was something wrong about this guy's testimony. Let's think about this. Did we have any other? I think that's all we got. Huh? No new anything. We got the different testimonies still. Because my understanding is it's probably the same knife that she was stabbed with. Am I correct? Autopsy report. There was a knife wound under the third rib. Part 3. There was a knife wound within the right chest, pierced the heart. So, and it's actually kind of interesting in that there is 2 knife wounds and cardiac arrest, so probably the actual stabbing itself is the cause of death, not the strangulation or the strike to the head. I felt like we would have gotten more evidence. I thought there was more than 2 things. Yeah, but I mean, the landlord even admitted he was there because he showed up and saw the event. That's why he called it in. So the landlord had to have left footprints and maybe fingerprints if he touched anything, which would be very suspicious, but it could have meant like fingerprints at the scene, like at the door or something. He said the door was unlocked, so he would have had to like have tried to open it unless the door was open and not just unlocked. Let's see. If I do this, okay, good. So it's got nothing to do with that in this case. Victim's footprints, tiger's footprints. Doesn't really help us. I'm just gonna, just for the hell of it. Like, I don't want to turn this into a brute force thing, and there's no information on what these newspapers are. Oops. Glass shards were near the body, several small pieces under the body. What is it we're missing? I'm gonna rewatch the testimony. This is gonna be a long game, I think.
我说强爷，你们这一来二去的审我肯定会晕呐。我现在想起来了，当晚莎莎就像个疯子一样，我一进门，二话还没说呢，她就拿刀刺我，还好我反应快，只擦破了一点皮，然后我推了她一把，就赶紧离开了。你知道，这女人呐，一旦发了疯，可不是好惹的。
Once she's mad, she can't be provoked. It doesn't even make sense. Like, when she's mad, she's been provoked. Like, there's no reason to provoke. I think Ying might come into this potentially now, because she specifically talked about them. He left as quickly as possible, so it doesn't quite match up with Ying's testimony of like where she seemingly had all this time to snoop around. If they were doing more than, because he said she just attacked him, or he said she just attacked him, whereas she said they were loud and eventually she called the landlord, right? Let me, without having to watch those, I'm just going to drag and drop each one of these real quick. Okay, so probably not the case. She was found in the bathroom. No, she was, or actually, where was she? I forgot. We have a report on that, or right here. No, not that one, sorry. But fuck. The crime scene floor plan. So she was found here at the entrance. From the looks of it, this I think is the front door. The bathroom is. Wait a minute. Wait. This is the bedroom, dining room, living room. Where's the bathroom? I don't know. I mean, there's a cabinet and a screen. Oh wait, there's more. Okay, so there's the bedroom. Something. So I don't even know. Maybe she doesn't even have a bathroom. Maybe it's like a communal bathroom. I don't see staircases or anything. So we do know she has a bedroom, dining room. Let's call it living room and entrance. Chinese people don't have bathrooms. What? They might just be I mean, there's a residential area thing. It looks like individual buildings or something. So it might be like a communal bathroom or something. What I'm really interested in is if we get access to this monitor, because this is going to tell us a shit ton of information just based on whether the landlord went that way or that way. Because that alone, I think, might be able to clear, like, prove or disprove his testimony. And I'm hoping they're going to give us more information here, where it might be like to get from here to here would have been. Wait, specifically says from the rental house to where the landlord called the police via public phone. I don't know why that's not useful to us, at least not yet, or not currently. Let's just double check these. Okay. Which one did you talk about? Was it the second one? She said, I walked to the door and looked around at that time. Dory was all inkling. Their quarreling voice lingered, so they were arguing according to her. Whereas he said she attacked him, he defended himself and got the fuck out. So that doesn't add up.
就听到他俩吵架的声音，吵得很。我还给淼哥发了个信息，让他管一下。
So there's some.
莎莎有个男朋友叫老虎，他俩感情不好，平时老吵架。老虎有时候生气了还会打莎莎。那天晚上我听到老虎在咆哮，有时候生气了还会。
Tiger would beat Sasha sometimes, yes, when he was in anger.
那天晚上我听到老虎在咆哮。
She specifically heard Tiger shouting that night. It's okay, he might have shouted if he was being attacked.
我以为他俩又在打架，结果没想到，但是具体的时间我不记得了。
First testimony doesn't help us. But yeah, that.
淼哥，就是租房的那个房东嘛。他真名好像叫陈淼，淼哥的淼不是3个水的那个淼。街坊都还是从莎莎口中传出。
This is the one that might hint at a possibility of an affair. Must not be related to that. It's got to be somehow related to the exhibit. Can I do something like this? Does that help us in any way? No. That was just an act of desperation. Lighter with special shapes. Small change in the drawer. With this mystery, no trace of the fucking flip, whatever that is. Ooh. I'm feeling a little bit stumped here, guys. I honestly... Testimony... There's no new messages. It's not like a conflict of interest. No, okay. When they gave us the little tutorial, they showed us like 1 and 1 and adding up. I just want to see something. It's okay, yeah. Second testimony. And we tried like each one of these, so because I would have figured this would have helped us, but it does not. The messages on the phone happened at 2 days prior to. The first message just confirms that she got a new phone number, or a new cell phone number. The second one confirmed, "You're such a busy person, you think I want... This is inconvenient to say, let's talk face another day." I don't know. Like, I don't really understand this one. Like, the owner's saying that it's got a number, but I don't know whose phone number this is. But it was kind of seems like just a text message. It's inconvenient to say here, let's talk in face, because I don't know who she's talking to. Like, it hasn't specified yet. And I think that's China right there, right? Yeah? Chugoku. So I think this is, the game is Chinese, not Taiwanese. So we'll call it Chinese from now on, just to be sure, because I didn't notice that before. But there was something she wanted to say to someone at a different time. Or rather, no. She wanted to know something. It was inconvenient to the other person, saying, "I'll call you back," or "let's talk in face another day." This is 2 days ago, though, before the murder. So she was expecting a call at some point after 2 days before her death. Now, the third one, we do know she was talking to the boss, Yang. Is boss... Hold on. I want to keep this... I need to make sure I understand and remember the names, rather. No, this is Ying. Okay, so not Yang, my bad. Her neighbor is not her boss. About the pregnancy, maybe it's possible, I don't know yet. So, boss Yang, why did I not see you today? So the owner of the phone specifically said, "Hey, boss Yang." I really wish I knew who boss Yang was, because if they told us and I forgot the name, I'm really losing track of names. Why did I not see you? I'm in a meeting right now, it's not convenient to say. And then, again, she's like, "I will wait for you to call me. It's a different number, 778, blah, blah, blah." Whereas the second one was 198, something, whatever. And this one is... don't know who that is. So it was an actual contact, whereas the other two were phone numbers. So perhaps not contacts in her list, but I mean, if she's waiting for them to call back. So yeah, those are all from 2 days beforehand. Glass shards. The lighter doesn't seem relevant yet. The only new bit of information we had was this footprint inside the wardrobe thing. I wanted to test that. Like, yeah, explain the money, you. Oh. Let's see what. Cell phone was used by the deceased before her death. Surely there must have been more stuff on her phone, right? The footprint with the landlord? We could try that. Because maybe I am going to be able to... Because the whole landlord thing is definitely iffy. Is this the one where he talked...
昨天晚上我就说，过去我就把门一推开，我公公电话报警。
He said he hurried to go get the phone. Hey, Manlyway nailed it.
师傅，按房东淼哥说，他只是在门口看到死者倒在血。
I'm gonna start that over.
按房东淼哥说，他只是在门口
He saw the victim lying in the blood.
看到死者倒在血泊中，可这房间里面为什么会有指纹和脚印啊？他不是在胡说八道吗？
是的。 那么我觉得真相呢，
现场的指纹和脚印不能完全说明问题，留下来也实属正常。不过有一点可以肯定，淼哥他说谎了。至于衣柜里的脚印嘛，就更离奇了。
的确太奇怪了。
Wait. Oh.
至于淼哥他说
Brother Meow. I'm assuming this was the landlord, right? So I thought it was like Brother Chen.
说谎了。至于衣柜里的脚印嘛，就更离奇了。
的确太奇怪了。看来这房东也不是老实人啊，我们必须再会会他。
低级的警员们啊！ 多亏了侦探之神的指示，我早已经将他传唤到位。
走，别让别人知道他认识我。太丢人了！
哎，你们哎。
Okay, that's kind of silly.
哎，弄啥呢？手拿出来。
啊，小金块，习惯有点不好。
Wait a minute, he's scratching. Like it looked not like he was a homeless guy that hasn't showered in years, but like maybe scratching. Like an itchy wound. Maybe he got nicked. He's wearing pretty covering clothes. He might be hiding something about his neck.
有啥子？你问我吗？
以前呢，我跟莎莎也曾经相爱过。
Okay, so they had relations in
她
the
的
past.
男朋友老虎。 原来坐过牢，是个不折不扣的恶棍。莎莎怕他，我们就只好偷偷摸摸的约会。我记得是有一次，我们两个正在他家约会，后来她有男朋友老虎突然就回来了，我害怕，我就躲到衣柜头去了。我估计脚印应该是那个时候留下的吧。 莎莎男朋友老虎是这一片有名的地痞，好吃懒做，成天正经事不干，就晓得跟莎莎要钱。莎莎不给钱呢，他就打莎莎。莎莎呢也想尽了办法，想跟他分手，但我老虎凶，他放话出来，说的是只要再敢跟他提分手，他就要莎莎的命。哦对了，我在那天晚上9点40的时候，好像收到条短信。
9:40.
是另外一位租客尹姐发来的。那个尹姐呢，是莎莎的邻居。短信内容，是莎莎跟老虎又打架了。我就奇怪了哈，我是个房东，又不是保安，他给我发这些爪子。不过，我觉得那个时间很有可能就是老虎行凶的时间。
有意思。老强，有一个小疑问哦。 你不会没有发现吧？
Okay, we got some interesting bits of information here. Okay, now we've got some interesting stuff. I'm gonna, first off, I want to rewatch that testimony. Okay, there's 3 different pieces of testimony from the landlord. There was a lot of things said that was very noteworthy. So let's go through it. So one, he admits that they loved each other, at least in the past. So the whole affair thing is confirmed. But her ex-boyfriend, I didn't know he was her ex-boyfriend. Like, I thought they were in a relationship at the time. Like wasn't Tiger her actual boyfriend? Not ex-boyfriend? So Tiger did go to prison. And he's trying to make him look like a villain. Sasha's scared of him. So they had to date in secret.
So
he's dated her in her house. It's not really a date per se, but yeah, went in China. But it does clarify a couple things that he goes into. Okay, so her ex-boyfriend suddenly came back. It can't be he suddenly came back. Unless it's a different date. Like a different date and time, rather. Not dating date. Because she was the one that called him over. If you remember. Or I think she did. I don't remember what that was based on now. Okay, so see, this is what was interesting, is that he does say he hid inside the wardrobe. And if I was to understand this, based on the evidence thus far, this happened on a different day than the date of the murder. Because he would have had to have been wearing different shoes. Which would explain why they match his size, but they're not the same shoes. So if this happened, let's say, the day before, it makes sense that he would have hid in the wardrobe to wait it out. So that does make sense. They do have an affair. The reason why he had footprints potentially is because he was hiding from the boyfriend. I don't know why it says ex-boyfriend, especially when we relook at the next videos. Maybe it's just a mistranslation, because I don't think he is her ex. I think he is, in fact, her boyfriend. So I don't know how much of that's like lost in translation or mistranslated, but something in the wording doesn't make sense, but otherwise it does make sense. We've got that established. Now he's just trying to smear campaign, basically. Trying to make him look like a bad guy, the boyfriend, ex-boyfriend, whatever. Now, the money thing is the next thing that interests me, because I think I might understand now what it might be meaning by flip with the money. And when I go review that evidence, I will talk about what's in my head with that in a sec. So he asked her for money. If Sasha refused, he would hit her. So this guy's saying he hits her because she doesn't give him money. She tried to break up with him, but he was like, no. What? That was so fast. He told everybody he met that if Sasha dared to break up with him again, he would kill her. So he tells people, supposedly, if she tried to break up with him, even though he keeps saying he's her ex, that he would kill her. That's not much to go off of, but before I look at the last video, let me run my thoughts here on this. Here it specifically states there are many small bills in the drawer. No traces of the flip were found. I'm starting to think what the flip is trying to reference is the fact that it doesn't appear to have been stolen, or as in somebody killed her, but they didn't steal her money. Kind of hinting that there isn't a monetary goal here. Like, it wasn't kill her, steal her stuff, or, raid her bank vault, so to speak. I think that's what this is kind of getting at. Although it specifically says small bills, so maybe this is considered chump change, but still. But yeah, I think this is going to become important later as well. We've got money left at the crime scene. If the boyfriend is so infatuated with taking money from her, why would he kill her and not take her money? And I mean, if anybody killed her, like, why would no one have stolen her money? Like, I mean, people break into houses and murder each other, most commonly for stealing shit. So it has to have been a different motive. If there was a motive like that, it would have been something more likely a heat of the moment, a crime of passion, without like a financial interest. Is what I'm thinking. Now let's see this last one. Okay, he says he received a message around 9:40. Now the boyfriend said he arrived around 9:35. So that means for about 5 minutes, and we don't know how accurate that 9:35 actually is. That's just what he says. And he said maybe 9:35. So for now, we'll just treat that for what it is. But 5 minutes after he arrives, this guy receives a message from the neighbor. Wait. No. Wait a minute. Something's not adding up here. Do you guys spot it? It's not in the video. He received a message. In other words, he must have received a phone call or a text on his phone at 9:40. The reason he had to go the long way to the public phone was because his phone was dead. If his phone was dead, how would he have received this message? Like, how would that have been possible? Something not adding up here. His phone may have worked just fine.
是另外一位租客尹姐发的，那个尹姐呢，是莎莎的邻居。短信内容。
Okay. Message said Sasha and Tiger were fighting, so that corroborates with what's her face with the neighbor, so that confirms her story. I mean, that is normal. That makes sense.
莎莎跟老虎又打架了，我就奇怪了哈。 So
he particularly saying he's not the landlord nor security. Wait, I'm not the landlord or the security. This is the land. You are the landlord. Like, this is the landlord, right? He's supposed to be the landlord. That must be a mistranslation.
Yeah, 他给我发这些爪子。不过我觉得那个时间很有可能就是老虎行凶的。
So when she called, he was like, "Well, it's not my responsibility. So wait a minute, maybe it must have been so serious that he killed her." So he's practically trying to accuse Tiger right here. I don't think that part matters. What matters is that he received a message from the neighbor, and yet his phone is claimed to be dead. When he found or discovered the body. Now, yes, we've all had that moment where our phone's about to die. You receive a message, and it's like, yeah, the phone dies, whatever. We're gonna put little weird flukes like that to the side. So there's a few things going on here. How to even try to approach this right now. Hold on. Okay, so we gained this by doing the footprint thing. They dated in secret, her ex-boyfriend. Because now we don't really have much hint as to where we should go from there. Can I combine his testimonies?
That's
the one we talks about, but this first one. See, right here, he specifically said my cell phone went out of power. I'm not inclined to believe your cell phone went out of power between 9:40 and 10 o'clock. Like, I'm not buying that. So I have a feeling there's a contradiction here between this one and, was it? No. I don't know if you can combine test. Oh, maybe. That's the smear campaign. That's the affair. Have they done a DNA test on the fetus? Would be an interesting one. Is there DNA information on the fetus? Like, it's not important in this case yet. Wait a minute, something on these dates aren't making sense. This is the report of the dead's pregnancy test. Report time is at 10 whatever, December 3rd, the day before the murder. So, was the pregnancy test something she had done? So, actually, that might already help establish motive potential, because we have a pregnancy test the day before she dies, and the likelihood that this was a crime of passion, as in this wasn't about money, but like, bitch, you pregnant, I'm gonna kill you now, I kill you. Like, this is probably really important, because one of the two people probably could have been, find out, hey, you've been cheating on me, I kill you, kind of thing. So, okay, how to go about this? I am not really sure. Okay, so here he talks about his relationship. He hid inside the wardrobe. So this is where he's talking about the footprints. Like, I don't see anything there other than if it no, because that wouldn't really contradict the evidence here. It's just likely on a different day, and I think he was talking about a past event, so I don't think that's going to matter. But the money thing, which one does he talk about money? Was it number 4? Where does he talk about money? Famous. Always ask Sasha for more money. Okay, so if the boyfriend was all about money, then how do you explain that she still has money in her drawers? I mean, it does say small change in the drawer, so like it's probably just a small sum of money. But I don't think that's going to be, like, I mean, it didn't work, so. I don't know. This is I forgot what new. I don't think we had any new evidence, actually. I think it was just the videos. Shit. How do we go about this?
师傅，
What happened?
你不会没有发现吧？老强，有一个小疑问哦，你不会没有
How
发
did you
现吧？
found that? What? Because like the last one is the one we were talking about the fighting and stuff. Is there a contradiction with that in Ying's thing? Let me see. I forgot which one it is that she talked about. That I don't want to click through the manual there. All right, I can't. Or that's not the one he talks about. No, okay, that's sorry. I was just thinking something. Nothing. Oh shit! How do we go about this? Because the problem is like I feel like we've got tons of different bits of juicy information to piece together, but trying to piece it together with this system kind of makes it a mess. But yeah, it is very possible, I think, that these discussions may have been related to the pregnancy stuff. Because these happened 2 days prior. In other words, 1 day prior to the pregnancy test. So, what is it? Welcome to my army. My confidence as a detective is dwindling. It does at least sound like it stopped storming. Yeah, my phone's charged. Cool. Sometimes I use my phone as a flashlight when the like if the power was to go out. That's why I was checking earlier for the flashlight as well, which I think I had charged up already. Or I'm on nickel metal hydride battery. Okay. Just yeah, it's not that it's nothing conclusive. It's just that it specifically wants me to probably drag 2 or maybe 3, more likely 2 things. And it's like whether or not I can make a connection, I have to know what the fuck they want me to actually put in these boxes. So it's not very open-ended in that regard. But how, like, the lighter thing is relevant right now. The phone, chargers. I don't know how to explain the clock thing yet either. It seemed like they might have been hinting at something here.
师傅，
在他那个男朋友老虎。
It's not his testimony, but the in-betweens. No. Okay, so the only interesting.
老强，有一个小疑问哦。
Here's a question.
你不会没有发现吧？
I guess that's our hint. I have a question. Haven't you found that? That's that translation not helping. Like I don't understand.
老强，有一个小疑问哦。
I have a question. Haven't you found that?
不会没有发现吧？
Haven't you found that? Haven't you found that? Haven't we found what? Oh, maybe that's the shared life thing. What is it that we have found? I don't know. Yeah, the problem is, since it's like a new game and it's like in a very obscure Chinese game, we're not really going to be able to go and find hints on stuff, so we really need to do this ourselves.
哦，我就奇怪了。不过我觉得那个时间很有可能就是老虎行凶的时间。
So, he already thought that when he had received the call that Tiger killed Sasha. A bit of a dramatic conclusion to reach, but if he thought that he had received the call at 9:40, and he didn't even arrive at the house till 20 minutes later, something about an alarm. I think the alarm thing was some weird-ass wording of the report. This report here. What? Change report of landlord's appointment. Apparently I can rename stuff. What? Why would they let me rename things? Because, yeah, it was basically from the time he received the call to the time he called the police, there was a 30-minute period. Yeah, and the time for alarm was 10:10 on December 5th. That's bullshit. That's, like, I think that is a complete mistranslation, but the alarm was reported by a landlord who found the corpse at 10:10 on the 4th being the date of the murder. The deceased was in his house. The deceased was his house tenant, so he immediately reported it. I don't think something like that's going to now. I think a big key is going to become this pregnancy thing as far as motive goes, but autopsy report's not going to help us here. The problem is they give us 3 different videos, so it's like I'm supposed to drag the time with the map to the distance to the phone. The map here, this part, I think is useless until we know, like, until somebody gets us this footage, this monitoring range. I'm presuming it's a surveillance system. Until we have that, we can't really use this to establish whether he went this way or around that way. I'm just trying to understand what you're saying. The time, the map to the distance to the phone, and the... Oh, actually, that might not be a bad idea. Like, maybe we can actually produce the information on that if we were to take... Because, yeah, you're right. I'm drawing a lot of conclusions, but I'm not actually trying to drag and drop stuff, so it is potential, like... Because, yeah, we've got the distance information, we've got the time. But now what? Ah, shit. I don't think using this is going to make it now. The report plus the testimony. Yeah, that's worth a shot. Problem is I don't remember which ones are which, but let's start here. No. Because I don't know which ones are which. I'm just going to drag and drop all of them. Yeah, that doesn't help. Shit. Okay, because, yeah, it's kind of a guessing game as far as the game element goes as to what the fuck you want from me. It's like I'm making connections, but the game's not cooperating because I have to know what they specifically want out of me. Crime scene floor plans will not be of assistance. Although it does help establish, now that I think about it, there's no sign of like breaking and entering or like chaos. You know, like the place wasn't destroyed in the process of a fight. Because yeah, I'm thinking this might need to. Wait a minute. If I add the program schedule, this was the one he talked about. No. Fuck. Like, it really would help if this game had a bit of a hint system to it to counteract the mystery of what the game wants me to do, because now it's turning into a guessing game. Because, like, we have information we want, but I can't get the game to let me piece it together, per se. That might not be relevant, but this might be. Wait, what? If you think you know something, maybe you can contract the Tiger testimony too, and for contrast. Oh, it's possible. Can you guys excuse me for a moment? There seems to be a domestic disturbance.